playoff format. I know we talked about that tons on here last year.
It changed. What?
It changed. Yeah, obviously. Don't know if you heard, but what are y'all's thoughts on that and how you think it'll translate into the coming years?
I think that it was the best compromise at the end of the day. I mean, I don't think we were ever going to go back to a full season 36 race playoff. But at the end of the day, this is where you still, I heard Kyle's comments, which kind of seemed weird to me. Like he was talking about one race deciding your season, and he's like, if you get wrecked at Talladega, now you're out of it. Well, no, there's still a reset. That's the whole point of this is, there's still a reset of, if you have a couple bad races in that first round, you're not out of it. You can be, if you look at the guy that was 10th in points at the cutoff this year, he was 200 points out of the lead. Now that guy next year, he'll go from that 200 to 70 out with 10 races to go catch the guy. The one that may burn a guy a little bit is the guy that's second in points because, the last few years, I feel like we've had really good battles. I know it was like a 1-point battle between Reddick and Larson. And then, it was a tight battle this year. I think Byron ended up winning, but that guy now, if it's a tight battle going into that last race with the regular season cutoff, that guy might be 3 or 4 points behind. Now he's going to get knocked back to 25 back. So, it makes the regular season championship matter that much more. And I feel like it still legitimizes a 10 race series where it's not a one race champion. And you can have some missteps along the way before the playoffs and still get a reset.
Yeah, I think it's probably compromises, like you said, for everybody involved. I didn't really pay attention how the fans reacted, Bob. How do you think that went?
I think, there was a certain section of fans that were 36 races or I'm going to hate it. And so they were not happy. But I think everybody else who, I think most everybody else was happy. And I think the majority were happy. They certainly didn't like the one race championship. And I think I didn't hear all of Kyle's comments, but I wonder if he was saying that Talladega in
the playoffs,
in the chase. Now, if you get wrecked, that potentially hurts you more than before, where there was a reset, right? So, but look, I've always thought that the 10 race chase was the hardest to win because, gosh, you saw Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon go at it, and there were times where I want to say Gordon averaged like a 5 or 5.1 or 5.2 and didn't beat Jimmy, for the finish. So I think you can get one potentially bad race, but if you have 2 or more in that 10, it's going to be really hard to make up for it. But what I really like about this is that, NASCAR has to make a lot of judgment calls. And we're always like, and I feel like this, at least if they make a call that you're not happy with, you have time to make up for it. While in a 3-race round, a call that they make or decision that they make, or throwing a caution that you didn't agree with, at least there's more races that you can say, okay, there's a bigger body of work and the impact of one call isn't as great.
Yeah. Tommy, one thing that I think I take away from it, the winning you're in is gone. And as somebody that kind of prefers a cleaner version of racing, I think that kind of eliminates that desperation move, especially when the shit we see at Martinsville the last few years leading into the last race. You don't have that desperation. I need to win this race to transfer to the finals or whatever, So does that clean up some of that where you're not going to see the guy come from 5 car lengths back to wipe the guy out just for an extra 10 points? I mean, he's going to want it. There's an emphasis on winning, but there's not such a desperation where you're going to do something stupid.
Yeah, I think it'll help a little bit. But it depends on the reset, right, at the time of the reset and how many points you're behind, right, and where you're going to be, So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I think it kind of takes away, like it, and then every other sport, right, I've always said it's like everybody really has a chance up until the end, right? I mean, you like the wild card and all that. I know we're doing half the field pretty much still. It's top 16, right, to get started, but,